What is the most important room in every veterinary hospital? I'll tell you, it's the exam room. When we first started to design this veterinary hospital, I wanted to have the perfect exam room design. So I looked everywhere to find the perfect exam room design. I looked on DVM 360, I looked on JAVMA, I looked everywhere, and I could not find a single resource that showed the perfect exam room design. So that's why I'm here today. I took all the sources that I learned from all the different places and I brought them together, and I believe we created what is the perfect exam room design, or very close to it. And I want to share it with you today. So come on into the exam room and we'll get started. So the first thing I want to talk about is the size of the exam room. So what is the perfect size of the exam room? Believe it or not, there's a sweet spot. It can be too big or it can be too little. If you make the exam room too big, it's echoey. You're too far away from the client. You're too far away from the pet, and things just get jumbled. If it's too tight, you're just on top of each other, and it gets confusing, and you just feel claustrophobic. So there's a sweet spot. So how big should it be? At a minimum, it should be 8 to 9 feet in size. On the larger size, 9 to 11. So that's the range. I prefer to go just a little bit on the bigger side in case you have multiple pets in the room or multiple pet owners. You need a little bit more room. So if you can spare a little space, go a little bit bigger. But there is a sweet spot. Don't make it too big. Don't make it too small. This is the floor plan of our Middleton, Idaho Veterinary Hospital, which we are at today. If you have the space, design your floor plan with the exam rooms on a peninsula like this. This puts all the exam rooms on an exterior wall. If you can't do a peninsula design, try to get as many exam rooms as you can on the exterior wall. Let me tell you why. All right, now that we're in the exam room, I want to show you one of the best features of the peninsula design, and that is the window. The window is so important for preventing pets from becoming anxious or fearful. It is an awesome anti-anxiety medication for pets, in addition to the pheromones that we have in the exam room. The cool thing about the window is natural light. Pets love that. Another cool thing about the window, which we didn't realize when we built the hospital, is they put in operable windows, which we weren't supposed to have for security reasons. But in the end, we decided we like them because they can be open. Sometimes it gets kind of stinky in here, but if you got a pet with diarrhea or anal glands, it's nice to have a window that you can crack open and get some fresh air in here. Another thing that we love about the window is this window sill. One thing that I would do different is this is a 6-inch window sill. I would have them put in an 8-inch windowsill because a lot of cats like to sit in the windowsill, and you can do a whole fear-free exam right here in the windowsill on a cat, and they won't even know you did the exam. You want to make the windowsill the same surface as your countertop so it can be cleaned and disinfected. But the window is an awesome fear-free feature that people don't even think about, and the peninsula design gives us a window. It's awesome. Another really important feature of a peninsula design is a single door, just like this. In the traditional veterinary hospital, you have 2 doors. You have a door on the treatment area, and you have a door on the reception area. What happens with a lot of cases is there's a lot of noise in the reception area and a lot of noise in the treatment area. All of that noise gets carried into the exam room, and it creates a lot of anxiety for pets that are in there. When you have a single door to the exam room, you cut out all the noise from the reception area, you cut out all the noise from the treatment area, and it's nice and quiet and safe, and pets love it in an exam room with a single door. Another really important feature of the perfect exam room design is a sink. Now, this is a debate in veterinary medicine. A lot of hospital architects and designers do not put sinks in the exam rooms, and I'm telling you that is the wrong decision. Sinks are a valuable investment in the exam room. The number one reason is the client should see you wash your hands. When they see you wash your hands, you are telling them that you care about cleanliness. You care about preventing the spread of disease. The second reason why we need a sink in the exam room is because this is a dirty job. We have pets come in that are covered in all kinds of stuff. They come in a carrier where maybe they had vomiting or diarrhea or an abscess that ruptured. The owner gets it all over their hands, we get it all over our hands, and we need a sink right here in the exam room so we can wash our hands and so that they can wash their hands. It's good for both of us. So another important feature of the perfect exam room design is the folding table. There's 3 reasons why we need a folding table in the exam room. The number one reason is that it prevents you, the veterinarian, from going to the exam too soon. Because oftentimes when the table is already up, when you walk into the exam room, the client is already standing there, the pet's already on the table, and they're already presenting their problem, and you get pushed right into the physical exam before you've ever greeted them or before you did the medical interview. So a folding table, if it's down when you enter the exam room, prevents you from getting pushed into the physical exam too soon. That's the number one reason. The number two reason why it's nice to have a folding table is because you can put it down when you're talking to the client, and it's not a barrier. I can sit down and talk to the client and the table is not in the way. So we have a nice face-to-face interaction without any barriers. The third reason why it's nice to have a folding table is when you have a big pet in here, you can put it down and we have this whole exam room that we can use for the floor. We can have 2 or 3 big dogs in here and I can do an exam on them without the table or the countertop in the way. So those are the 3 big reasons why you need a folding table in the exam room. Super important. Another really important feature of the perfect exam room design is seating, both client seating and doctor seating. Let's talk about client seating first. The first thing that you'll notice here is that we have a padded seat. The exam room doubles as a waiting room for a lot of clients. A lot of pets will go back to have treatments done, procedures done, x-rays, blood work, you name it. They might be here for an hour or two, so it has to be a comfortable place for the client to sit. As far as client seating, you'll notice that this is vinyl. Vinyl has 2 primary purposes. Number 1 is it can be disinfected and cleaned. Sometimes it gets messy in here and you need to be able to disinfect this space. That's the number 1 reason why vinyl is nice. The number 2 reason why vinyl is nice is it can be changed. Let's say it gets torn or ripped or you just don't like the color anymore. You can easily change out the vinyl and get new stuff and it'll look brand new with very little cost. So another thing that you should know about client seating is how long it should be. We did 4 feet. Instead of 4 feet, I recommend doing 5 or 6. It's just not quite enough to have 4. With 4 feet, you can have 2 people. With 5 or 6, you can have 2 people plus a pet plus another person. So the seating should be at least 4, but preferably up to 6 feet. One other feature of client seating, which is really important, is you'll notice that this client seating bench goes all the way to the floor. That's important because we don't want pets hiding underneath the bench. When they're hiding underneath the bench and we go to pull them out, it's fearful for them, and that's when people get bit. So having a bench that goes all the way to the floor is a really important design feature for client seating. Another really important feature of perfect exam room design is doctor seating. Doctor seating is important for a lot of reasons. The main reason is when you're sitting, you can look directly at the client, seeing them eye to eye. It's a great place to connect intimately. Another really important feature of doctor seating is studies show that when a doctor sits down, the client's perception is that they spend more time with them. Studies show that they aren't necessarily spending more time with them, but the perception is that the doctor is spending more time, which means that they are feeling that they are engaged and that they care. So doctor seating is important. If you don't have a stool in your exam room, get a doctor stool and sit down and connect with your clients. Okay, I want to share a couple ideas for fear-free when it comes to exam room design. Number 1 is this exam room has the pheromones. This is feel away, and then we have the dog appeasing pheromone over here. But those 2 are constantly emitting pheromones to make this a fear-free environment. Another thing about the fear-free design is the flooring. The flooring needs to be a non-slip surface. We chose to do epoxy, so this is an epoxy floor, and it has a texture to it so the pets can't slip. That's another important feature so pets don't feel anxious slipping around.